welcome back to my channel. So I know I released a video recently about my little sister, and that was basically a video that showed everything that is going on right now. But today my mom will be doing a video that will be explaining everything that took place with my sister, like a general explanation of everything that happened.
Hi everyone. So we're currently here in India, and I just want to bring awareness to how Aliza case started and how we end up being here. So for let's put it, I would say May. I noticed in May Aliza, like, she was losing weight, and for me as a baby, from a baby growing, you know, she was always chubby. Persons who knew her, neighbors, friends, colleagues, my friends on Facebook, I would put pictures of her and so on. You would see her progressing and growing like a normal baby. Until of May, I noticed that, you know what, her clothes is not fitting her how it's supposed to fit. So then I tell my husband, you know, I am a bit worried now. Aliza is losing weight. Like, how is she like this? Not, her clothes is not fitting normal. And in that stage, during that time, I was giving her lactogen formula. So I noticed when she was pooping, like, you know, it was like a soft consistency, like diarrhea. For me, I remember Awaz, my second son, he was lactose from small. So little things are quite alarming to me. Like, everything that happened, I would closely observe my children, and any little thing goes out of place, I quickly pick it up. So then I noticed, like, within this time, like, she was having diarrhea, and in like once a month she would just have fever. And for me, it's like, you know, sometimes long time people would say, oh, it's growing fever, she's growing normal and all of that. But for me, well, I would know based on doing a lot of researches and so, like, fever is body fighting off infection. And for me, what is Aliza fighting off? She's not having cold, she's not having flu, she's just getting fever. Probably for a week, I give her a little paracetamol or Tylenol and it goes away. That has been there for since May. Like, in between, she would have these kind of fever along with the diarrhea. So I thought when the lactogen was scarce, I switched lower stage down, like stage 2 and 1 was there, because she would want her formula whenever she sleeps and so. So after that, now, like, I figure, like, you know what, this milk is not agreeing with her. Probably this is a change in the milk is probably make her, you know, lactose then. And as time goes on, I got more worried because this is not improving. So then September the 22nd, I said, you know what, Faiz, she's having a fever again. And you know what, she is still just pooping like that, and I think I need to go to her pediatrician so that he can give something to stop diarrhea. That was my concern, because she's not gaining weight, she's not picking up herself, and why is this like this? So then we get ready. We went, and she was born at Balwan Singh in Georgetown, and my previous child to Awad, it was 8 now, has born there. I've known her for the past 13 years. I've been there because for Awad the service was really good, and you know, they known as a baby hospital where they have the maternal package and all of that for mothers and babies and so on. So then I went, and that she, prior to last September, she had a walk-in pneumonia episode, and he treated her. So then I went back and I said, you know, let me go to him. He's a pediatrician there, and he's gonna look after her. So then I started telling him Aliza's story, how this started, how I noticed she was losing weight and all of that. I thought it was the milk allergy and all of that. And well, the first thing he suggested was, let's stop the milk and give her almond. So then I gave her almond milk the Monday I come home. Normally since September, she always scared of doctors. So when she goes, she's crying. He checked her mouth and said she had swollen tonsil. So he gave her an antibiotic to drink and said, we're going to do a follow-up on Friday. Come back Friday, and that we're going to check to see if it's improved. Anyway, that said and done, we went home. And when we took off Aliza's clothes in the night, I realized that I was going to bathe her. the daddy saw that her belly was swollen, and then he's like, is she malnutrition? How is this like this here? This doesn't look normal, because being very skinny now, we looked at her belly, and there you can see it was a bit like, you know, normal, her belly button then bulging. Anyway, we put her to lie down, and we were pressing her tummy and checking her, because the doctor didn't check her tummy. So we said, let us do that checking now. She's not crying. And when we checked her, it feels very stiff. So then when it felt very stiff, we thought it was gas, you know, that probably she built up some gas. We're going to notify doctor when we did the follow-up on Friday. With that now said, I tell Awad, the 8-year-old, what to go and lie down on the chair. And I said, let me check your belly, how it is. And when I felt his belly, well, that was so surprisingly different. It felt soft, normal, and Aliza's own was swollen and stiff. Anyway, when we went back Friday, that's the first thing I was alarming, and I noted, I told that, and he said that, let's put her in the bed. And well, she wasn't crying. And when we put her in the bed, he put her hands there where it was, the tummy felt swollen, and he said, this feels like the liver. So I got very nervous and scared at that time. How is the liver so stiff and swollen like that, so big? Anyway, he said, let's not assume anything, go and do an ultrasound. So right at the hospital there, they have these machines and all these tests being done right there. So quickly I go get an ultrasound done. When it returned, it was shown that the liver was swollen to a size of 14 point something, and it was enlarged. Anyway, when he come back, he saw it swollen and all of that, and he said, okay, we have to investigate now. Let's check why it was swollen. So he had checked a lot of blood work for her, like about 16 blood works, where you just check for liver function, her hemoglobin count, and all of that. Now, when the test results come back, it would show that the AST and ALT and so their liver enzymes were very high. And certain tests, her hemoglobin was 8. So that was alarming, like her blood count was low at the set time too. But then in the set time, he was like, he wanted to monitor her closely. He said, you know what, well, the Monday he didn't do a dengue test. The Friday he did that, and he did show up positive. So he thought to himself, you know what, I had a suspected dengue, but let me do the test today, and the result came back positive. So he's like, okay, I have to monitor her closely than ever now. So you're gonna come every 2 days, because we have to watch her blood count, and we have to check if the platelets are gonna go down, and so on. And with that said, now every couple days we were going back and forth for 4 weeks. This happened for 4 weeks. Every 2 days we were going to Balwansing, and we did like about 7 different ultrasounds, 6-7 different blood works. I have all my records there showing, and nothing was happening. Is that Aliza, the first 2 times her liver gone down a little, but then it started to swell bigger than ever. But one thing I missed to mention is that when on Monday I told him about Aliza's condition, he said there is a test that he normally does. It's a G6PD test that would show that probably in her lactogen the sugars are not breaking down. That's the galactose, and it's not breaking down into her blood, and it's rather building up toxins in her liver. So when we did that test, sent it overseas, in 5 days the results come back, it showed a little high, but not excessively high. But for him, he said, you know what, that shows that indeed that the milk is the problem. So what he instructed me to do further is to prevent all dairies and all sugars. And I gone on a strict diet with Aliza. Nothing, no over-the-counter stuff, no supermarket stuff. I was just giving her rice, curry, greens, fish, meat. That's it. No sodas, no drinks, no juices, nothing. And then I said, I was like, you know, so anxious now, waiting for the liver to get back to normal. I want this liver to get back to normal, so I'll try my best not to just give her home-cooked foods. But for me, as a mother, I noticed rapidly she was declining in weight. Her body mass was losing, all her muscles were gone, like disappearing. She was getting the bones. Now, when I went back, that was, I think, on the 7th of the first week of November, all right? The ending of November, the ending of October, that was the first week of November. Yes, it's 4 weeks after the 26th of September. This all happened like 4 weeks after. I am going to him now and I'm saying like I want to go. I said my husband, we had a 19th, I remember 19th of November, we had an appointment that to go home, give her the meal, diet plan, and then come back to me. We're going to do a follow-up. But for me, I couldn't wait longer because I knew Aliza was losing weight significantly more than ever before. And then I went back to him. My intention was to ask him, Doc, is there anything else you can do? You know, what is the next step? And when we went, like he said, okay, let's not suspect anything now, let's do a final blood work and ultrasound. When I did that, her liver was swollen more bigger than ever now, and then all the other 7 results were showing, but her blood count was increasing a little. But during this time I would mention, Doc, do you think she has cancer? Because that's the first sign, like they would come to mind for me, like wonder if Aliza has cancer because she is rapidly losing weight. We're not finding symptoms. I know cancer last stage you would find symptoms. So I did mention this to him and he's like, oh no, the blood count is going up, the results are showing good, but despite that the ALT was still rising higher from 72 to 80 to 84 and all of that. And for me, he's like, just because the liver is enlarged, that is why the enzymes were showing so high. And that was it. Now, when I went that day to ask if there are any more tests, he's like, oh no, this is all the hospital can do. And you need to go, do you have visa? He asked me the question, do you have visa? I said, no, Doc, I don't have visa for US. And then he's like, you know, we can go Jamaica, but Jamaica has hurricane. Do you want to try another country? For me, I was getting more nervous than ever because I know instead of helping Aliza, now you're giving up and you're not like, you know, giving me a solution to her problem. Instead, you're asking me to go elsewhere. So then with that now, I went in the car, me and the dad, we sat down for hours and we break down and we were like, what are we going to do now, guys? What's the next move? What are we to do now? Did they give up on her, you know? And we have to go somewhere else. We have to go somewhere probably that don't have visa. You don't need visa to go. With all of that said and so on, in the midst of that, he always just asks me if she has like, you know, if I notice vomiting, abdominal pain, fever. Well, she would have fever. That time he treated her with the tonsil. And, you know, he's looking for jaundice. He's looking for physical symptoms. Aliza is not showing no physical symptoms. And he's like probably puzzled, I assumed. And he's not finding anything. But he didn't do a CT scan, neither an MRI test, which the hospital did have. Anyway, that all happened and said and done. The following weekend, Aliza took him with some abdominal pain. And I'm like, I tell my husband, is it now starting? The signs he was looking for, it's abdominal pain. Now she was crying out for pain. It was 5:30 in the afternoon. I got scared. And then my husband is saying, I'm like, if this girl taken in the night, what's going to happen? Where are we going to take her? So then my husband suggested, why not call Dr. Box, since he lives close by in our village and he's a specialist. Let's call him and see if probably he can help us. That's when this new, the other part of it started. So then when I started telling Dr. Box Aliza's story, he said, Sharisa, based on what you're telling me, that sounds very urgent and serious. I think you should reach Georgetown Public for 9 o'clock. I'm going to make calls and you're going to be there, and I'm going to see that everything fast forward and you're going to get the treatment and help that you need quickly. With that, as soon as I reached Georgetown Public, he made calls, Aliza's name was announced, and we, the whole night, the first thing they did was an x-ray, and then the second was an ultrasound, I remember, in the morning hours. And when they did the doctor that did the ultrasound, it's a woman, and we sat there, that's like 2:30 in the morning, because you're anxiously awaiting, you want to know what's wrong now, are they going to find anything? And when she did the ultrasound, for me it was kind of alarming, because like she's taking not half an hour, not 3/4 hours, almost a whole hour, and she's going all around, up and down, zooming in, right, left, and everything. And then she called us closer, my husband and I. She'd zoom up to the screen and she said, the first thing she mentioned is that liver texture don't be like this. This looks very firm and hard, smooth. That's the 2 things she mentioned. And that she's seeing a big mass. When I heard mass, I got scared. Like, how did they miss some ultrasound and they didn't find a dot, they didn't find nothing? How is now there's a big mass in her on her liver? She said, well, don't be scared or anything, but there's further testing that can be done. I'm only suspecting, but there's other tests that can be done. With that, I was admitted in the hospital the same morning, 7 o'clock, and the following day, the CT scan was being prepared. Now, prior to that, whilst waiting for the results to come back, we were just sitting outside after 2:30. We were waiting. Dr. Ali came up to us, and he's like, indeed, there was a mass. They said they found that on her liver, and that we're looking at primary cancer. When he said that, like, you know, in my mind, like, I couldn't comprehend, because I always said Aliza is showing no sign, no symptoms, and he's not going to the minority, he's like going to the major of cancer. And then I was like, oh my God, oh Allah, what is this now? And he said, don't worry. I asked him, doc, if anything in the liver. They said it's hepatoblastoma cancer. That's kids like 3 years and below would have this specific liver cancer. And, you know, we're going to look to see if this is the type of cancer she has. And with that now, the CT was followed up the next day, and he said we're going to know more exactly if this is the cancer. So with that now, and she did the CT test in the afternoon. The following day, there was a team of doctors, Dr. Sipasad and all her doctors, and they wanted to have a discussion with me. Well, my husband was on his way, but then, you know, in my mind, I'm like thinking, oh no, this is nothing much. That if I did ask Dr. Ali if anything is to happen in the liver, if they can do surgeries right here, because I don't have visa to go, you know, another country. He said yes. If there's tumor, indeed a mass there, they can handle that here, Jarchang Public. Don't worry, everything can be done. She's in the right place. With that now said, I get a little reassurance that, you know, if anything really found in her liver, that, you know, we can do it right here. So then when the CT scan results came out now, the next day, Dr. Sipasad and her 2 doctors sat me on the table, and she's like, tell me how this all started. So that's the same thing I related earlier. I did tell my Dr. Marcel that she was losing her weight and all of that, what I noticed. With that now, she said, let's go to the screen, and I'm going to show you what these CT images are telling me. And when remember, they already assessed this, they checked it through and all of that. They had a team of doctors, pediatrician, oncologists. They had discussion thoroughly and discussed her findings already. Now she's going to tell me what they're finding. And when she zoomed up to the screen, the first thing she said, there is this huge, big mass in the liver. It's almost taking over her whole liver. And inside there were like multiple tumors. So in my mind, it's like that's the first thing, like it was like getting her tummy bulging, and this mass is the problem, you know, that they found the problem. Thank Allah they found the problem, that, you know, this mass can be taken care of now. You know, they can probably get it out with surgery. But then after, when she started to zoom up now, she's going to the lungs. She said this here is not just a benign tumor. We can tell that this is cancer because it's spreading, that it's in her 2 lungs there now, and they're seeing spots. She's pointing out the spots that they saw. And then I was like, you know, in that my mind, like, you know how a mother would think now, wow, this is cancer for real now. And it's gone worse. It's gone from the liver to the lungs. She said the oncologist is going to come tomorrow, and you're going to speak with him. You have questions, you're going to ask him. So with that said and done, I waited anxiously for the oncologist. He's a liver specialist, and he's gonna like answer my questions, you know. So the first thing I asked him, I said, doc, you know, what stage is it? Well, definitely when it's from one organ to the next, it's stage 4. And then I got really worried now. I asked him, is there anything that can be done? He said, well, for sure, liver transplant, we don't do that here in Guyana, you know, but we can string tumors. They would help. They would give chemo and other treatment to help string the tumors, but a liver transplant will not be able to done here in Guyana. With that now, I lost hope, and I said, you know what, this is really bad now. I said, doc, is it possible I can get discharged? I've been here 5 days. My little Aliza, she needs to see her brothers, and she needs to be happy. Like, I want to see her happy again. And I cannot take that news like a normal person. Like, I was trying to muster up courage, but I couldn't at that time. And I said, I need to go home. But he did tell me the next process would be a biopsy. In my mind, I know what is a biopsy. If you do biopsy and it starts spreading, you don't have treatment, that's going to be worse for her. So I just decided to take discharge and go home, and then clear my mind and think what's going to happen next. During the process of that, Dr. Boggs did mention Shia and Hey Doctor, they're good doctors. You do reach out to them, Sharisa, they are really good. And you know, you can get help. They're advanced technologies, they're advanced treatment now, and you don't give up hope, you know. But for me, I already give up hope. I know what cancer is. I know the last stage, the excruciating pain. For me, I couldn't wait like to see like I didn't want her to go through all those torture of like getting hooked up to needles and all of that. Anyway, I go home, and then everybody was telling me, you know, still she was not showing any signs of cancer. Still she was not having breathing issues. Still she was not having like the abdominal pain gone. And one day when I admitted her, despite I going for that, and she was eating, being healthy and all strong, and everybody is like, you know, you should try. Why not try Hey Doctor? I remember quickly when Hey Doctor in India came to mind, I think about Ravi Lachman, Colors of India. I said, my sister-in-law and he went to school together, and every day Abida would be close by with me in the hospital, and I said, Abida, let's reach out to Ravi. I remember he took his brother to India to do tumor. I had tumor and it was successful. Get in contact with him and let's hear what he's saying. And in the midst of that, indeed, Rafi did reach out and give Abida contact number of Dr. Prakar that would do all the paperwork, immigration papers, and see that we can get to travel. And so he get contact quickly because they know Rafi very well. That was recently he visited India, and they came on board quickly, and they were wanting all Aliza's record and so on. I sent everything on her medical report, and they said yes, her diagnosis, her body response look good, and you guys can come, and they will start doing a treatment. They did a treatment package even. They gave her a treatment package, what they're going to be doing from starting to ending. And in the midst of that, I was still having that shattered hope. Like, you know, as a mother would think, I don't want to go nowhere still. Is she going to able to travel? Is she going to get worse? What am I doing? Why am I torturing her and all of that? But then to clear my mind, I did talk to a few family members. One is Imam Moses. He is a close family, and I wanted to, you know, confide in him and tell him what I'm feeling. Am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision? And then he said, you know, he explained to me that, Shariza, doctors are there to help, but remember, life is in Allah's hands, and you can do that, but remember, if anything is wrong, it's Allah's will. You cannot stop that, but doctors are there to help, and I think you should try. With that, 6:30 that morning, I called because the papers were on hold. I had a doubt again. Me and my husband, I said, I'm not going to do this again. And then after I spoke to Imam Moses, I said, okay, Abida, you can go ahead. And within 2 days, we were flying and trying to come to India, and preparation was done. Now, on arrival here, we settled in. She started to do tests. Well, they have to get a history from your country, and from then they do follow-up. They do something a bit more, a little advanced. It's a PET scan, and that's a little more detailed scan that they did, that they found, like, you know, this is the cancer indeed, but they need to do tests, and she has to do a biopsy. Well, for me, this is where she's going to get treated. So I said, okay, yes, let her do the biopsies. A sample of the liver has to be taken out, and it's going to be done for testing. And they did that, and it does look like that, they say. And because in her case, that's the only cancer of the liver that is, you know, more common. And her is very rare. It's like 1 in a million case. And recently, Tuesday gone, they said they even want to know what kind of this cancer it is. There are different kinds. One can start from inside of the womb of conception. There's a different kind, and there's a mixture of both. So now they ask us that, you know, to give permission, they want to do that for the testing so that they can treat her. Well, Monday, a few days back, she started her first chemo. And I can tell anybody now, like, I know what was chemo, my scary feeling, my the side effects, the risk, everything that was in my mind, and that is reality. Well, I was with Aliza all the time now, face to face with her, next to the bed, being with her all the time. And when she start, I like to do research, and after my son is like, mommy, there's this new chat now, you can just talk whatever you want, do your researches, punch in all the results, and information will come forward, and you will get accurate results there. With ChatGPT helps a lot with that. Now I download the app, and I would always get it close by to me. So when Aliza started her chemo, the first thing before she started, they gave her an orange solution, and the nurse gave me the box, and right away I click a picture, sent to ChatGPT, and I realized that was for nausea and vomiting, and she had to eat ice cream throughout that process. For me, that was like the beginning of a relief any mother would have think, because I was like, oh my god, is she gonna start her treatment just now? She's gonna start vomiting? How can I bear Aliza start vomiting when she's taking her chemotherapy? With that, now they did other, like her port on her heart has 3 outlets, so while like taking chemo, other stuff can be going in her body. And I witnessed that when Dr. Priya came with her doctors. I was listening to her. She's like saying they have to give potassium, magnesium, gastric flush, uric flush, and I'm like, I go quickly and I check those up as well. And now I realize that all the symptoms that Aliza, they would say, like, if you take chemo in the future, you're never normal again. You're either gonna have trembly effects, your brain is probably gonna be damaged a little, your kidney is gonna affect it, your bone is gonna, density is gonna be damaged. I've realized that all these things they were giving Aliza along with chemo is to prevent all these side effects. And the first night she was taking her therapy, in about 5 weeks, Aliza have never slept so sound. She have never been so like happy and not like, you know, discomfort. She was always in discomfort like. Yes, so I was saying that the 3 days that she had took her chemotherapy, due to her body lost so much weight, they did for the first chemo session, they had to give her very slow, was 24 hours. Dr. Priya explained to me. They didn't want to rush it. They took their time, giving her slowly at a time. And then, you know, they gave her the other 2 IV, the bags of IV with the medication inside. And so far, currently up to today, Aliza, I've seen her wanting to do more activities. She's more alive. They even give her a meal plan with a rich protein diet. Like, she has to build up herself. What I was doing, I was starving her. Remember, I wasn't giving her any dairy. I was giving her sugars, and her body was just, you know, feeding on whatever. When she gets hungry, she would just want to eat food, but she wasn't eating the dairy product a little baby would have to get, a toddler, to, you know, get those muscles and be healthy and strong. I discontinued those meals from her, and she was just getting malnutrition. So now doctor explained she has to build up herself, and with the chemo and with the treatment, they even gave me follow-up treatment that they gave in the IV in the hospital for prevent vomiting, nausea, build her blood and everything. They gave me follow-up treatment, and every 2 days she even had to take up building a vaccine that would help her with her blood, not dropping the blood count. And I must say, whatever I'm seeing here today, I can able to tell the world, it's never anything I've imagined. I did tell the doctor that night, doc, I now realize you guys are doing everything in your will to prevent all side effects, all symptoms, and you're giving the best treatment. She's also doing the immunotherapy along with chemotherapy, and that's in your advanced treatment, which they boost your body's immune system to help fight off the cancer cells as well. So with Aliza, her body, I can say, is very strong. Her chemotherapy session, I do wish and pray, let all be just like that. The 3 or 4 cycles more she has to do. It's every 15 days. And I pray, and I'm asking everybody to have continued prayer for her, to be just as strong and react just as positive and get the help that she truly, you know, needs to be a healthy little girl again, so that she can live